Hi everyone, it's Henrietta and Heather, and welcome to a Millennial podcast where we dive deep into the life of our 30s.
We'll discuss our struggles, dreams, relationships, icks, and anything millennials can relate to. Sit back, relax, and let's head on this journey together. We are 30s Unfiltered.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. We are throwing it back to Y2K. Today, we're diving into a time machine and heading back to the early 2000s when Juicy Couture tracksuits, AIM chat rooms, and low-rise jeans ruled our world. So grab your iPods, put on your favorite early 2000s playlist, and let's dive into our teen years. From Lizzie McGuire to the OC, we've got a lot to cover. So let's go. All right. How are ya?
I'm good. How are you? I'm so excited to be back.
I know, same. And isn't this your favorite decade? Isn't that what you said?
The 2000s? Hell yeah. There were so many good
Or
things
yeah,
that
right?
happened in this decade.
I was more of an like the 90s were kind of my favorite. Because when it comes to the 2000s, like style-wise, like I don't want to go back to a lot of those things.
The 90s?
No, the
Oh,
2000s.
2000s. Yeah, I love, I mean, like who doesn't love the 90s? But I think 2000s was
Exactly.
like it was a good time to be a kid. It was just so,
Yeah.
there was electronics, but not in excess of it. There was like a balance,
Yeah.
you go out, you play with your friends, you're being present with each other. So I think that was a significant difference. And I think that yeah, I miss it. I miss it a lot.
Me too. I'm curious. So when you hear the word Y2K, what comes to your mind?
Immediately Disney. I was a huge
Disney.
Disney fan. Yeah, Disney. I love Disney Channel.
Oh,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Are you talking about
All of
early
those.
2000s?
So
I know.
I was 9 till 19 and you were 10 to 20. And
Yeah.
that's a huge age gap. So like we were both kids and we were like adolescents and teenagers all
Mm-hmm.
in one decade, which is
Right.
insane. Like we
Mm-hmm.
actually started like dating during that decade. And you
You
almost
did.
became a
I didn't.
mother. Like
Right.
almost. Well, yeah, kind of. Didn't you? You didn't date in high school?
I had boyfriends. I'm telling you, it's my thing. I had boyfriends. I was in relationships already. I never dated.
Well, so you just had like you said hi, you met someone, and then the next day you're boyfriend, girlfriend?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Dude, no wonder you're
I'm
scared of
telling
online
you.
dating.
Exactly. Oh my God, I have to update you later about that too.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Oh my God, I
Wow.
said yes to my
That's
first
crazy.
date.
Wow. Good
I
for
know. Look
you.
at
That's
me. Look at
exciting. We'll see if it actually happens.
No, it will happen.
It's
I,
crazy.
I'm a yes woman now. Okay. You have like
I didn't
zero
hear you.
faith in
Okay.
me.
Well, I haven't seen you ever go on like dating, so I don't really know. I don't know.
I
This
know.
is a new learning curve for me as well, because I have never seen you date.
Me neither. So
Well,
it's new for both of
so
us.
exactly. Okay, so do you feel like this decade felt more like an adolescence period or like a young adult period? Like do you remember yourself being more like on the younger side or more of the like I'm like too old for this? Like you felt like you were so mature.
When I was like a young adolescent, that was when my parents got divorced. And so I
Hmm.
think a lot of that part of my life was moving and
Hmm.
transitioning from different schools. I honestly don't really remember doing too much because also like I was in the midst of making new friends and like moving. And so I think I was just more with my siblings. So I wasn't actually like into like TV shows or
Socializing
anything.
and being
Yeah.
with like your
Mhm.
friend. Wow.
Yeah.
It's a very different experience than I had because I was doing so many sports. I was dancing, and I went from dancing to being a dance teacher and being on a
Hmm.
dance crew in our dance school. And I was in things in like plays in school where I was also a dancer. And I just had so many things going. Like at one point, I think I did three different activities
Yeah.
and like always hanging out with my friends. But I also, didn't have siblings. And so that was what I wanted to do all the time, just hang out with my friends.
I think one of the biggest difference between us is obviously like I come from a broken family and
Hmm.
you have a stable childhood. And so your parents,
Hmm.
they're still married till this day, which is amazing.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I didn't have that growing up. And so things were different. Things were shifted for me. It wasn't stable. And so I wasn't in sports until probably like sixth grade. Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
like there was like a gap between I think like the age of like 9 and 12 where I don't really remember much, to be
Same.
honest.
Honestly,
Maybe I
same.
blocked it out. I don't
But
know.
obviously for different reasons though, because for
Yeah.
me, my mom was sick for a lot of those years. I mean, from when I was like a child, that's pretty much all of our lives, my mom being in and out of the hospital until I was in high school. I remember calling the ambulance when I
Hmm.
was maybe like 4 or 5 because my dad
Wow.
was working, and I think that's when my mom had like a gallbladder thing.
Hmm.
I think like she's had so many, but she's like I felt like I was dying, and I remember it so well. But I thought that was when she had her first heart attack, but that must have been later because she was 35 and she had me when she was 27, so I must have been like 7 or 8 when that happened. But
Wow.
a lot of my childhood was just visiting my mom in the hospital and my dad being at work and me
Yeah.
being home a lot alone. And so I
Hmm.
think once I got a little bit older and I had more independence, I was just doing everything. And
Right.
I mean, my parents also did a lot of activities growing up, so that was kind of normal.
That's totally crazy.
So you said that you didn't really watch a lot of like shows and movies and whatnot, but I feel like probably some.
Hmm.
So what was your favorite show during that time?
Well, I think late 2000s, my favorite of that decade would be like the
Hmm.
Disney Channel TV shows, which was like the High School
Hmm.
Musical, Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place, even Stevens, Proud Family, That's So
Oh.
Raven, The Sweet Life. I was that girl watching all those shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you weren't a CW girl?
I mean, yeah, I loved Gossip Girl. I think Glee had come out at that time, right?
Had it? Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay, but okay, so like any CW shows or any like the OC, One Tree Hill, um,
No.
Dawson's
No.
Creek, none of
Nope.
them?
I never
Oh
got
my
into those.
God.
I've watched a couple of Dawson Creeks, but I could not get into it. I couldn't. I don't know why. It just didn't hit for
Wow.
me. So Gossip Girl was it for the CW.
Oh yes. Well, that was
Hmm.
like high school, like closer to high school in my case, but
Yeah.
One Tree Hill came out, and like you know this about me. Most people
Hmm.
that know me knows I'm obsessed with One Tree Hill. It has been
Yes,
my
you are.
favorite show since 2003. So
Hmm.
for over 20 years, so it's
That's
part
so
of my
crazy.
life. This is why I one day maybe not live in North Carolina, but I really want to
Hmm.
go. I want to go to Wilmington. I want to go to Charleston and all these places because of One Tree Hill. I don't know. I just it's
You're
so
obsessed.
homey to me. I'm
Yeah.
obsessed. It just warms my heart. It's just my soul. I mean, I also loved Gossip Girl. I was Gossip Girl of the year of my senior prom in high school.
I
That's how
remember
much I
you told
loved
me.
Gossip Girl. I dressed like Blair for almost all of high school. I was obsessed,
She's
like
iconic.
obsessed.
Yeah, I was too. I
But
loved it.
yes, but One Tree Hill is my heart.
I
Like
know.
that's
You're
just what I
obsessed.
can say. So, what
Yeah.
about movies? So you told me
Movies.
that you went to the movies and stuff when you were younger. Did you go more like with your girlfriends, with your boyfriend, and like when was the first time you were allowed to go to the movies without your parents
Mm.
or your siblings?
I want to say like sixth grade. I was doing a lot of things on my own.
Oh.
That's when like I was going to the mall by myself. I was hanging out with friends.
Was that a big thing in the Filipino culture though, for your kids to become independent early, or was that just kind of like a that's just what happened? Or do you
I
think you
think it
were affected by you being in California and not back in the Philippines?
I think what it was is being raised by a single mom after that. You don't
Hmm.
really have that much attention. You know, she's busy working, providing for four kids. And so
Yeah.
everyone's pretty much on their own. I wasn't the oldest. I was the second to oldest, and I'm a girl, right? So I'm more responsible.
Hmm.
So a lot of the stuff ended up falling on me to like take care of my siblings. And like when I was at the age of 16, like I got my permit and I was already driving us all to school. And like
Wow.
my mom was working. And I even see it in myself now with Mason too, where he
Hmm.
has to do a lot of things on his own. But I am also very active in his life. You know, he's in sports, he's
Yeah.
doing all kinds of things.
You're
We
very hands-on.
communicate. Yeah. Even though I teach him how to be independent, but and I think that's just because God
That's how
forbid
you
if
grow up.
something were to happen to me, not that he'd be okay to
Okay.
be on his own, but he would. Like I always say, he
Yeah.
is fit right now at 11. He's turning 12. At 12 years old, he can
Hmm.
go and move into his own apartment. He is that
Yeah.
independent.
I
He
mean,
knows
it's
how to do
important.
everything. Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally the first time I came over to your house, Mason made me a quesadilla.
Right. I
And,
remember that.
and that was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
You're like, are you hungry? You're
funny.
like, yeah, you'll make her some food. I'm like, oh, okay. Like what?
Ah,
And then he's like, oh, what do you want in it? I'm like, what? Okay, I can
that's
see that.
hilarious. Yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had to teach him how.
That's so
And also
funny.
because, when I had boyfriends, they didn't know how to do laundry, they didn't know how to cook, they didn't know how to do shit. So I was
Of
like,
course.
my son is not going to be one of those men that don't know how to
Mm-hmm.
keep up their own home. So I just make sure
Yes.
that he's ready for the world and that he's ready to be in a relationship and take on his own, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
100%. I love that.
Mhm.
I wish that
Yeah.
more parents did that to their kids, not just guys. But because I have, known some people who at the age of, mid-20s had never done their own laundry until they moved out on their own, which is
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people that I've met are like
Hmm.
that. And that's not their fault, it's their parents' fault.
100%.
So, yeah.
Sometimes I catch myself, I go through these like phases of like doing his laundry, cooking everything, but then, and also like washing the dishes. But I catch myself, I tell myself, no, he needs to
Hmm.
contribute. I'm not going to be doing
Hmm.
everything. Because then I just also teach
Hmm.
him that he doesn't have to do anything. He's gonna
Exactly.
have his mom
Exactly.
here
Yeah,
picking
no.
up after him, doing everything. And no, I'm not gonna, no, we all
No,
contribute
yeah,
in this
no.
household. So
Yes, I love that. So, speaking of boyfriends and guys, so who were your celebrity crushes, or just one if you only had one during this time?
again, Disney girl here, Jonas Brothers. The
Oh my
Jonas
God.
Brothers, the Joe
Yes.
Bros,
Oh my
NSYNC,
God. All three of
Eminem.
them, or did you have a favorite? Did you have a favorite brother?
I
Or was it
was in
all
love
three of
with
them?
Joe. I was in love with Joe. And then at one point I
Mm-hmm.
was in love with Nick. Kevin was always just the
Mm-hmm.
friend. He was always just a friend. Oh
Okay.
God.
Poor Kevin.
What what about you?
I had so many. Well,
Who are your top?
my
Your
crush for a
top.
long time. So Daniel Radcliffe, because you know
Oh
I'm a
God.
Potterhead.
Harry Potter.
Duh. Harry Potter and Taylor Lautner. Also,
Oh
like as
my
soon as Twilight
God.
came out, well,
Yes.
the first one he wasn't in that much, but like the other ones, I was like, oh God. When that happened, then Daniel was out. I was like, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Omarion, do you
Oh
remember
my
him? Bow
God.
Wow. I mean,
Yes.
so,
What
oh
group was
my
he in again?
God.
B2K.
B2K.
Oh God. They were so good.
I
Boy
know.
bands like that
So
again.
good. I know. R&B bands. Oh, mwah,
Mm-hmm.
so good. Who else? Channing Tatum. Like,
Yes. Oh
do you
my
remember him
God.
in Step Up
Mm-hmm.
and She's the Man? He was so hot. Oh
He's
my
still
God.
hot. Taylor Lautner, I
That makes
was
sense.
also in love with. Love
Wow.
Twilight. Love it. We should watch it when I'm there.
Uh-huh. I'm down. I was just thinking that, like, oh, yes. Yeah, it's funny because one of my other best friends, Haley, she also is obsessed with Twilight. And we have done many like movie nights where we've watched the Twilight movies, and it's just such a good time. It's just so nostalgic. Like that was,
Hmm.
those like teen heartthrob movies, like the rom-coms and those like teen dramas. Oh, they don't make them like that anymore.
No, they
Like
were so good back
they were
then.
kind of cheesy. They were, I
No,
mean,
they
like
weren't. They were so good.
they were
Was
cheesy. They were good, but they were
was
also
Mean Girls?
cheesy. Rom-com era was the 2000s. So this is was really when reality TV also started flourishing. And I mean, you grew up in the US where most of these shows were shot, especially in SoCal, more
Hmm.
specifically in LA, and you lived not too far away. And speaking of, I'm of course talking about Laguna Beach, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and The Hills. Did
Hmm.
you watch any of them? And which other shows do you remember?
I watched all of them. Obsessed with Laguna Beach. I love Lauren, but Kristen is my girl. But I still watched The
Ooh.
Hills. I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
remember The Girls Next Door. Hugh Hefner, the Playboy Bunnies.
Oh my God, I forgot about that
Yes.
show. Yes, I
Yes.
watched it. I watched it. Yes.
That was
Oh
good
my
too. I
God.
loved that.
That was a
Top
good one.
Model. Top Model. I think
Yes.
that's
Oh
when
my
everyone
gosh.
started to become a model.
Modeling. Is
Yeah.
that show still around?
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh
I don't know if
wow, I
I'm
didn't know
pretty sure
that.
there's new seasons, but I've seen it. I've seen it. I watched it? No. I just don't
Mm.
think it's the same. It's not
Mm-hmm.
the same.
Could
How about
it? Tyra
Jersey
Banks is
Shore?
not there, so
Oh,
I
right.
watched a little bit, but I was kind of like, the whole party scene. That was kind of my life back then, like in high
Mm,
school. And so I'm like, I
yeah.
don't need to watch more people getting drunk. I see it in real life
Oh
every
my God.
weekend, you know?
You missed it. You missed it. You missed the Snooki
I mean,
era. You
I saw,
missed,
no, I remember that.
oh,
I saw some of it. No, I don't
gym
know that.
tan laundry. That was what they did.
See, I just
No?
didn't get that. So,
Damn. Can't relate.
also, The Bachelor. Do you remember when The Bachelor came out? And
I
then
never
it just
got into
never
that.
stopped.
I never got into The
I
Bachelor.
I
I know
I
you're a
liked it
huge
when it
fan.
first well, no, but I mean, it comes and goes. Like I will say some seasons are really good, and I still follow some of the Bachelorette, the ones who were Bachelorette that I really like. There's so many of them. I don't even know how many anymore, but
Yeah.
it's also not the same. But The Hills and the Keeping Up with the Kardashians were my favorites. I mean, I watched Keeping Up
Mm,
from like day one.
yeah.
Little did we
That was
know they would become
huge.
royal family of the US.
Right. Before that, I was watching The Simple Life. Do you remember? I feel like that's what
Yes.
started
Oh
it
my
all
God.
with Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie.
Yes. That was a really funny show, but I think they did that, strategically to get
Hmm.
into the public scene. So this was also an epic decade for music. R&B,
Hmm.
hip hop, rap, punk rock, alternative rock, all of it. So where were you when it came to all these genres? Were you more of a Britney fan, a Nelly fan? You said B2K or like Linkin Park kind of gal. Where were you?
I think I was a mix of everything because I love everything, but
Same.
mainly just like pop and R&B. Like I'm like
Okay.
Nelly, Usher, Mariah Carey, Alicia Keys, but also give me some Maroon 5 and like Linkin Park and Fall Out Boy. I love all of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're my favorite. Yeah. Me
What about
too.
you?
I was a hip hop dancer, so I naturally listened to a lot of hip hop, a lot of rap, but like mainly like 2000s hip hop was so good.
It,
They don't
it
make music
was.
like that anymore.
Mm-mm.
If you watch You Got Served and Honey and The First Step Up, like all those dance movies, the music that they have, like Timbaland and like B2K and so many different artists that just we don't listen to anymore. Oh, it's so sad, but that was
I
really
know.
like my era. But then I
Hmm.
also was super into punk rock, like Sum 41, Linkin Park, All Time Low, Fall Out Boy, Simple Plan, Avril Lavigne, like all of that. Oh,
Hmm.
I would just blast the music and just like play it at night. I would go out on the balcony and just like I remember like putting a blanket on and I was just like, get me out of here. Like that's really what I would just like I would just dream.
Oh
It's so
my
corny, but I would just dream of like the day I could like leave and just, follow my dreams and do just like be larger than life kind of thing.
Yeah, and be in
That
LA.
takes me back.
Yeah,
So
no, for sure.
also MTV, that was like it was the best network or channel, whatever you want to
Hmm.
call it. And music videos were like the shit. If you hadn't seen the
Music
latest music
videos.
video of an
Hmm.
artist, you were missing out and you were not cool because you couldn't talk about
Yeah.
it. Also, TRL, do you remember?
Yeah, I remember TRL, MTV
Oh
Cribs,
my
like that
God,
was
MTV
like when you
Cribs.
could, yeah, when you would get home from school, like you would put that on and like it would be like reruns of certain things, but it was still like the best. And then that's when you would see all the new music videos come out.
I still love seeing like my favorite like celebrities come on TRL, like wanting to watch their outfits, what they wore.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just like I loved it.
It was good. I
Um,
think they did the like
mhm.
interviews with the
Yeah,
live
they just
crowd
did interviews. Yeah, and
and
it was at
games.
Times Square. Do you remember?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Were there a specific music video that you remember watching on repeat?
There wasn't, but I know like for sure 50 Cent, Eminem, um, Alicia
Mm.
Keys, Usher. Yeah, and Destiny's Child. Destiny's Child.
Oh, they had
You
good
remember
music
Destiny's Child?
videos.
I know.
Duh, so
Um,
good. I think
Snoop
mine
Dogg.
was Can't Hold Us Down. That's the one I'm thinking of. And I mean, there were some all the Pussycat Dolls music videos.
Oh my God, yes. Pussycat
So
Dolls. They were
good.
iconic. Hate that
Mm-hmm.
they broke up.
I
Jesus. Do you
know,
remember
so
Danity
sad. They were a
Kane?
really good group.
Hmm.
Oh, yes.
I was so
Oh my
upset
God.
when they
I mean,
broke up. Wait, I finally remembered my favorite music video. It's My Boo by Usher and Alicia Keys. Do you remember that
oh,
song? He sang it at
I
the Super Bowl.
do.
And
That's
you know
right, he
why?
did.
That was my
Why?
favorite song because also had my first kiss to that song.
Stop. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
yeah.
Wow.
Oh God.
How old were you?
I think I was like sixth or seventh grade. I remember I was
Wow.
standing, we were in our apartments. outside somewhere. There were like stairwells around the apartments. So we were
Mm.
hiding in one of those stairwells, and I had my first kiss in a stairwell, and
Oh
that
my
song was
God.
playing.
And you were
Yeah.
like 12 or something? Damn. I was a
Hmm.
prude when I was a teenager. I was like, I'm not going to kiss anyone who's not going to be my boyfriend. When I was like 17 and um my friend had her birthday party at this cabin that we all
Hmm.
rented, she had some friends from where she was from, a different city, to come stay with us. And I ended up like my first kiss was a full out makeout sesh
Wow. Mine
with
too.
one of her friends. And I was
Oh my
17,
God.
but I was like, fine, I'll just do it, whatever. Yeah, it wasn't romantic at all. We were just outside. It was during the winter. It was in February, so it was just cold. And that was it.
Hmm.
It wasn't anything romantic. I don't remember any songs playing. So yeah, that was that. Moving on.
Moving
So
on.
now bringing all of these topics together. Do you remember what the fashion style was back then? Like, did you get inspiration from movie stars or artists? Because those were really the only options back then. And yeah, well, also the fashion models, like the supermodels, like
Hmm.
we said, like Tyra Banks. But who was your style icon?
That's a tough one. Who was it?
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
So mine were Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Yeah.
Like I had photos of them, posters of them everywhere. I copied all of their outfits that I was able to. Like whatever I could find that was similar to theirs, I did. And also Emma Watson, the same thing. I would save all of the photos that I found of hers, like from photo shoots or from red carpet events, and I'm like, I'm gonna look like that. Like I wanted to be them.
Yeah. Dude,
I
you
was
remember when
obsessed, but I thought they were
celebrities would
so cool.
remember when they would go on the red carpet with slippers?
Oh my God. I mean, there was just no shame in the game.
Right. They would go on with like capris and like
Oh my God.
flip-flops and like yeah, if you look back to like Rihanna, I remember this one Rihanna was
Oh
wearing
my
like
God.
capris, jean
Yes.
capris with like high heels. But I love her.
Jesus.
We were all were wearing that same shit anyways.
I
Um,
know. Well, I like that they didn't take themselves too seriously back then. Like the fact that they would just wear jeans and slippers on a red
yeah.
carpet event and go to like the Teen Choice Awards or Nickelodeon, whatever it was. I thought that was kind of cool. It's
Yeah,
things have
it's so
gotten, well,
serious
obviously
now.
the fashion nowadays is insane. Like look at Zendaya, what she's wearing whenever she's on the red carpet. Like she's a queen.
Yeah,
But
it's like totally
yeah, it's a
changed.
little too serious. Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Everyone's
know.
just trying to be
So
like better than everyone else. Always.
right.
Always trying to up
So was
show somebody else.
yeah. So was Rihanna your style icon, would you say?
My style icons again, Disney girl. So whoever was like big on Disney, like Selena Gomez
Miley.
or
Oh yeah.
Miley,
Miley Cyrus.
Vanessa
Mm-hmm.
Hudgens, Ashley
Yeah.
Tisdale. Yeah,
Oh my God.
my
I love
girlies.
that.
Yeah.
Yay, girlies.
Mm-hmm.
Those are cute. Yes, I also do love them a lot. So, what year did you start high school? And you said you went to a lot of different schools. Like how did that look for you when you once you started high school? How long did you stay at each and how was that?
Ninth grade, I remember I was living in this place called Calusa. It's up north.
Oh.
It was a very small town. So, when the new girl comes, the new girl's popular. I got nominated. I was like the homecoming queen or something. And like
Ooh.
all the girls hated me because all the boys had crushes on me. And like I was getting
Oh my
so much
God.
attention. But this is how it was in high school. Like this is like what I had to deal with like having to make friends because all the guys would have crushes on me. So I'd end up
Hmm.
making friends with the guys first. And after ninth grade, going into 10th, I moved again to this place called Yuba City, which was like half an hour away. We bought a house over there.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I did 10th grade there. And again, I had to go through the entire process again. It was a bigger school.
Hmm.
After that, where did I go? I ended up moving here to LA, 11th grade, West Ranch High School. And then senior year, I moved to the Valley in North Hollywood. And then I went to Polytechnic High School in the Valley for my senior year.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
insane.
I know.
That is actually crazy. So, what were some of your best and worst memories from that time?
The best was partying,
Yeah.
making friends. When I finally had started to make friends and like they would invite me out, like that was
Hmm.
great.
Yeah.
And then again, it would go into like having to move and then doing the whole process again, which that
Yeah.
part sucked. But
Yeah.
once I started to get comfortable and make friends, then it was great. And then we'd move again. So it was just like a pattern that I had to constantly keep doing.
Yeah.
So the best was just like having fun, being a kid, driving, obviously, learning to
Hmm.
drive.
Hmm.
The worst was, yeah, just like having to redoing it again, make friends. And yeah, there's just like that awkward stage where you just have no friends. You don't know anybody, and it sucks.
Yeah. It does suck. So were you in like any cliques or was there were any of those high schools a typical high school where there were a lot of different cliques like the jocks and like the smart like the mathletes and all that stuff?
Yes. I want to say every single school. There
Wow.
were all
So
those. Hmm.
so for those of you who are not from the States, it is exactly like it is in the movies.
It is. I don't know how it is
Yeah,
nowadays,
it's like
but back then it
I'm sure
was.
it's that times, but like worse. Because when I was in high school, there was a lot of pressure of wearing the right clothes, like the right brands, and like hanging out with the right people, being seen in the right areas of school. Like, but mainly I will say the biggest thing was just like wearing the right things. Like we had to wear juicy suits, we had to wear Uggs and like Canada Goose or a different brand of jackets that I can't remember. It was just so much pressure to fit in, and like my town has a lot of rich people.
Yeah.
Um, there were always those kids who had like the newest and the most expensive and had like huge houses that we went to parties at, and it was a lot of that. But I have had the same friends since like um elementary school. Like we were a pretty big group of friends in high school, and whenever we had parties, we would be at least like 100 people that were in the same group of friends in our year. And
Oh, wow.
then we also had, so it was a thing, like we were technically like the popular group, but there were so
Mm.
many of us. It wasn't like 5 people.
Yeah, because
And
everyone knew everyone, right?
each but my high school was the biggest one in Norway at the time with the most amount of kids. And so each, and there's only 3 years of high school in Norway, not four like it is in the States.
Mm. When did
Um,
the
but and,
when did the like designer things start to happen? Was that like from middle school or in high school, like first year high school?
middle school. But yeah, even worse once high school started, for sure.
Like that's when you started being aware, like, oh, this is the like label of clothing that I need to wear to fit in.
Yes. So you guys didn't have that? There was nothing that like you
Probably,
weren't
but I
cool if you
wasn't,
didn't wear like juicy or
no. I
you weren't
think
faced. You're like, no.
no. I didn't have that pressure, thank God. But I also like couldn't afford, you know,
Hmm.
buy that stuff, so it didn't really phase me. And it still doesn't phase
Yeah.
me. I think I there was a point like 2 years ago probably I would have it was like designer everything, but now no.
So I prepared a fun game, and this is
Hmm.
where the movies are going to come into play
Okay.
because we've established that the 2000s or Y2K was one of the most epic times for rom-coms.
Yes.
And I'm gonna test your knowledge a little bit. So
Okay.
we're gonna play a game called Guess the Movie Quote. Okay?
Okay. This is fun. Let's go.
Okay. Okay, first one. I don't need pity. I need a paycheck. And I've looked, but when you've spent the past 6 years raising babies, it's real hard to find somebody who pays worth a damn. And you're getting every word of this down, honey, or am I talking too fast?
Oh God. I don't know. Oh wait.
So it's
Pretty Woman.
close. Same
Oh, fuck.
actress. In
Is she the
2000,
lawyer?
single mom.
Oh God.
Yes.
Oh, I can't remember it.
Do you remember the movie?
I remember. I know she's a lawyer, or she works as like she wasn't the lawyer. She was
Started off as an assistant.
Erin
Aaron
Brockovich.
Brockovich.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. You did
I'm so
it.
proud
Okay.
of
Okay.
myself, dude.
Yay.
Okay.
One out of one. Okay. Next one. Exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins makes you happy. Happy people just don't shoot their husbands. They just don't.
I know this. It's Legally Blonde.
Yes.
Reese Witherspoon.
Elle Woods, which came out in 2001.
See, another
Okay.
classic.
Next,
They don't make them like that.
another classic. I know. Next one. Me, I'm dishonest. And a dishonest man you can always trust to be dishonest. Honestly, it's the honest ones you want to watch out for because you can never predict when they're going to do something incredibly stupid.
Is it Ron Weasley?
No.
Oh, fuck.
No.
Oh, God. I don't know. I give up. I don't know.
Okay. It is Jack Sparrow from the Pirates of the Caribbean,
Oh, my
the
God.
first one.
Oh, those were good movies.
I know. So the
Dude.
first one came out in 2003.
Oh,
Crazy, huh?
wow. Not
Yeah.
surprised.
All right, next one. What is that attitude? We are young, heartache to heartache, we stand. Love is a battlefield.
13 going on 30?
Yes,
Ah!
it is. Heartache to heartache. I love that is one of my
Yeah.
favorites. It's so good.
Oh my God.
2004. Next one. Look, where you are now, I've been there. Been there, I lived there. I was kind of the mayor of there.
I have no idea.
Just my luck.
I just watched that recently.
You did.
I would have never guessed it.
Next one. Oh my God. I feel like I just found out my favorite love song was written about a sandwich.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
27 Dresses.
Oh, wow. I love that movie.
Me
Oh,
too.
God.
2008.
The
So
actors and
good, right?
actresses of the 2000s were just phenomenal, and they still are. Still are, but
I
they
know.
don't
And
make the
there's
same
so many
movies.
movies like worth mentioning. Like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. I still to this
Oh
day
my God.
I can watch it over and over and over. Wow, what an incredible trip down memory lane. From the unforgettable TV shows and music hits that defined our youth to the early days of partying with our friends, the 2000s were truly a unique and transformative time for all of us millennials. We hope you enjoyed reminiscing with us as much as we did. We'd love to hear your thoughts and stories about the 2000s. What were your favorite TV shows, your go-to fashion trends, or your most memorable dating experiences? Share them with us on our social media channels or drop us a message. Next week, we will be exploring our culture differences, so be sure to tune in. Until then, keep embracing that millennial spirit and cherish those wonderful memories. Hey, thanks for listening. We hope you got some takeaways from today's episode.
You can also follow us on Instagram and YouTube at 30s Unfiltered, or email us at 30sunfiltered@gmail.com.
Please leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to our channels. See you next time!